However, it was not quite a walk in the park to begin with. In fact, things were a bit uncomfortable at the start. Is that right, Professor? Come to think of it, things didn't exactly hit the ground running, huh? Professor, remember when they had us stand side by side for the first time? Indeed. I must say there was quite the bit of incongruity between the two of us, wasn't there? Definitely, and I'm pretty sure everyone more than noticed it too. I mean, all anyone has to do is take one good look at the two of us side by side. Our character designs are pretty different. Yeah, that's true, Mr. Wright. You and Maya both look a little more, real than we do. Not to mention, Nick and I were, what, two or three heads taller than you guys? 3 heads taller is overkill, Maya. But I never noticed any sort of strange discrepancies between you all. They must have gone through all sorts of adjustments before the game, right? Adjustments? This is just an aside, but there is something rather odd that I became aware of. I felt as if I were gradually growing taller throughout the game's development. Aw, Layton, you are such a shorty. Of course, you are getting more and more stylish by the day, huh, Professor? You know, I was playing the Professor's latest game just the other day. Which one, Azran Legacy? And I totally thought to myself, is the 3D getting weird? Or does the Professor look shorter in this game? Or maybe it was Miracle Mask. But you know, the Professor and Luke weren't the only ones that needed a little bit of adjustment. What? Seriously? I do believe Mr. Wright and yourself needed a bit of a height reduction for the sake of balance, Miss Faye. Aw, man. You mean to tell me Nick and I were both cut down to size? The developers never tell me anything. It's a bit scary when you think about it, having to get used to being changed over and over. I have to say, though, the final showdown between Mr. Wright and the Professor was really very impressive. It was the only showdown we had, despite it being a versus game. You said it. That final trial sure was something else. And Professor, you were quite the sly fox, too. Excuse me, Miss Faye. A sly fox. You know how you told us I'm off to go fetch some evidence for the trial, old bean, and left us to the trial totally unprepared. But then you kicked down the door to the courtroom like boom and completely took over the Inquisitor's bench. I was actually hoping I could have stepped in as Inquisitor. My lord, Inquisitor Faye sentences that burger to my stomach. Maya, do you even listen to yourself when you speak? Now, I was just giving the players what they came to see, Miss Faye. After all, Versus is in the game's title, is it not? That's right! Nothing says Versus like a dramatic courtroom battle, eh, Professor? Don't forget about the team puzzle. It proved to be quite popular, I think. Why aren't there more team puzzles? You're talking about that puzzle for opening that huge door down in the underground ruins, right? Oh yeah! The puzzle that Nick moaned on and on about until he ended up trial and erroring it, right? Resisting urge to object. Hey, I say that sort of got a versus kind of vibe. Us versus the puzzle, right? It would seem our dear developers had quite a few different ideas on how to implement the verses of the title. Oh yeah! That reminds me! Remember in the initial storyboard? There was even a scene where the Professor and Mr. Wright face off against each other in a fencing match! Fencing? Oh yeah! I totally saw that too! Why wasn't that in there? I have to admit, I was pretty surprised to see that in the storyboard. Although then again, Wright doesn't really fence, does he? But it still would've been cool! I mean, pointing my finger at people is one thing, but a sword? That's a whole other ballgame. It didn't make it to the final game in the end, though, did it? No, unfortunately not, Luke. Yeah, but at least the Professor got to hack and slash those huge walking tin cans the storyteller called knights. That, I assure you, was a special case, Miss Faye. By the way, I've got to say, Maya, you surprised me. You're not usually the kind of person that you literally leaps into action like you did when you saved Isabella back in court. But you're definitely kind of the person that would get trapped in a steel cage of death and dropped into a raging pit of fire. Well, yeah, hold it! What do you mean I don't leap into action? I can leap! Who said I can't? Poor Maya. I love this episode though, it's just these little development tidbits. At any rate, there are a number of fun and interesting ways for developers to play on the versus team of the game. You said it, but honestly, it sounds like making this game was really tough. Speaking of which, no one else was tough. The developers' offices! I bet they had more than a share of disagreements. Yeah, this is just a rumor, but I heard developers on this game was so ridiculously tense. The developers ended up fighting, just like in those other versus games. So much for cooperation. Mind you, that said, all of us have been able to get along quite amicably despite coming from two different games. On the other hand, the developers seem to use this opportunity to develop, let's say, a strong rivalry with one another. Yeah, that's right. Couldn't have said it better myself, Professor. Both were in the versus spirit, after all. Indeed. Whether contesting as fierce rivals or helping one another, it was all in the versus spirit. The important thing is that everyone did their utmost, whether friendly or competitive. I wonder if Takumi had like parts where he just disagreed with certain aspects of Layton. Just how Layton game plays. Hey Nick, if someone were crazy enough to put you in a fight against someone, what would be your finishing phrase? I had to go with something like, it's time to pay for your crimes. While the methods and thinking may differ, the end goal is the same. Both paths will lead us to the right answer. That's right. I speak of puzzle solving. Puzzles, Professor? Ah, right, I think I get what you're saying. Oh boy, he did the thing. Well then. It appears our time together is coming to an end. Oh, is it? Cool, that was fast, wasn't it? Yeah, tell me about it. Are you ready, Mr. Wright? Absolutely, Professor. Let us combine our efforts one last time and put this final puzzle to rest. What is our final puzzle? That is the question. Oh, I hate this puzzle! A customer wishes to have their fabric design filled with color. Uses a magical stamp to fulfill the customer's request and color in the design. Stamping a previously color error will cause the color error to disappear. Slide the stamp around and style with the stylus and touch the touchscreen to stamp. Use the touchscreen to guide you. Ah, fuck. I hate this. I'm gonna need a guide for this or else we're gonna be here forever. Alright. There we go. We would have been stuck here the whole time, and I would never be able to finish this in 15 minutes.
Let us think about it together. Every puzzle has an answer.
That was it, guys. That was the last puzzle. Adventures filled with mysteries and excitement will always be around. You never know where they may take you. I am sure our paths will cross again, Mr. Wright. Well, I guess this is farewell. Until then, Professor. You two will be sure to come and visit us, won't you? Oh my god, this music. This is making it sadder. Duh, of course we will. You take care of yourself, Espella. Don't go near any bells or towers. We want to be able to see you again, you know? Text is going really slow. I have no control over it. I can't wait, Maya. Oh, yes. We can't forget to thank you all for playing our game. You have our utmost gratitude. It was thanks to you that true peace has come to our town. Even if it's just a fleeting visit, please do come back and see us in Labyrinthia. What Espella's trying to say is, don't be a stranger and definitely come back and see us all. I know I'll be giving the game another go very, very soon. Well, at any rate, this final special episode seems to have come to a close. You really stuck it out with us through it all. Thank you for all of your support. I'm sure we're bound to meet again. Soon. Remember, our adventures aren't over yet! Well, they might be over for Layton. I hope you all had as much fun as we did. From everyone in the Layton and Ace Attorney universe. See you later! Aww. It's done! I'm officially done! The end! There is no more! I am done with this series. Oh, but that was so bittersweet right at the end. I really do kind of hope there is a sequel, but I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe it won't happen, maybe it will. Who knows? But that was it, guys! I'm all done. I thank all of you if you ended up stucking through all these bonus episodes too. Thank you for watching. I hope you really enjoyed my playthrough of this game. And I hope maybe, you know, you might consider picking up this game. Because it is a really good game despite its little issues here and there. Because, oh my god, the soundtrack is great. Just going through the adventure with them both is great. So yeah, you know, I highly recommend playing this game. So with that, whatever the wind blows the next time around I make a video, I will see you guys then. Laters!